We've got Aaron. Aaron, you did. I've got a coughing fit about to come. No, it's gone. You did a little. It's not a little. You did a half a marathon on Sunday for us.
Yes.
Thinking, how much did you raise? It's quite an amount.
Yeah, so £1,640 was the grand total.
So it blows my mind, man. It really does. Because like I said, off air sounds all official, doesn't it? But like I said, off air, man, it's just we're not money focused at all. We're about
Mm.
trying to change minds and the stigma associated with mental health. But you're one of those people where I can tell you get different types of fundraisers. You get the professional time fundraisers. They're doing it every single weekend for every single charity and whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just whatever. Let them do what they want to do. And then you get the people like you. There's normally a hidden story that there's a reason why you're doing it. It's not because of the money. That there's normally a reason.
Hmm.
So I'm like, let's pull you into a video because I just get the feelings that not something's going on. Do you know? Tell us
No,
about
yeah.
yourself. I'm waffling at you. It's not the Dan show. It's the Aaron show. So tell us about yourself, mate.
Yeah, so I think in terms of the mental health thing, I think when I was 16, so what, about 5, 6 years ago now, I just started having like waves of depression. But with being 16 and the time it was then, it wasn't really talked about then. It wasn't like even like, it was nowhere near what it is now. Like, it was just kind of so I just kind of felt like I was going into it all very like open-minded and I had no idea what I was going through. I didn't even know ever heard of depression. And I was there like, okay. It was only when my mate said it to me, like, oh, you might have this. I was there like, oh right, okay. Because I had no idea about it. So if you saw a doctor and they were like, oh yeah, you've got it. So it was very hard for me at first, like being 16-year-old just about to do their GCSEs and then get transitioning into A levels with kind of like experiencing a whole new wave of thoughts and like trying to like deal with it and know how to deal with it when it was all so new to me.
Yeah, because I can imagine that age. I can imagine that age as well. Because I remember I remember. I'm a bit older than you now, but I remember, and I've had conversations with students who are about 14, 15, 16, like end of life at school kind of thing.
Mhm.
And the one thing I've heard time and time again is like you got nothing to be depressed about.
Yeah.
Did you get that? And I find that's kind of offensive.
No, I didn't actually
Why?
really, I didn't actually get any of them. No, so I think um at first it was like two people knew about it for probably about a year and a half, and then
Okay.
people knew that I was like a bit off because I was starting to like isolate myself. Um, so like my friendship group kind of knew that I was a bit off, but I think one of my friends who did know that kind of just like sheltered me from it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I just think he's got a bit of stuff going on." Um, but it was only until about a few years ago where I was like, "Right, I need to finally tell them." And when I did tell them, they were like, "Well, we can kind of gather that from behaviors I was showing when I was 16, 17."
Well, okay. Wow. Okay. That's that's interesting. Like, did it when you were telling them? Did you like freak out thinking they were going to judge you or anything like that? It sounds like you got good mates, to be honest.
No, no. The friendship group I've got, like, honestly, like, I've got so much time for them. Like, they've been so helpful every time when I did tell them, which was probably I told like them through different phases. So, like, just when the opportunity was right, and they were very well supportive. They took it very well. Like, they're quite, all of them have got their head screwed on. I think they could kind of knew that there was something up. They're obviously very happy that I told them. And even when like, I did that post on social media tagging you boy lot about the post, like they're all very supportive, like, oh, like, got a lot of respect for what you've done. It's really good that you're speaking out about it and all of that.
No, absolutely, mate. People follow when they've been lead, mate. When they've been led, it's as simple as that.
Mhm.
And that so and I'm starting to realise it's not the people who actually congratulate you where you have the most influence. That does help. Obviously, it does help. It's the people who don't really talk.
Yeah, no, exactly.
They're the ones normally where they're like they start changing their mindset and up to a point the stigma as well, isn't it?
Mhm.
No, so it's where so what 6 years out. So where you at where you at now?
Yeah, so I'm at uni now, so I just finished like a placement year, so like a year in industry at Watford Football Club. and then I'm going back up to Nottingham next, so from September to do my final year.
Yeah. No, I mean with the whole depression stuff and the mental health stuff.
Oh, sorry.
That's
Yeah, like I think now because I've had 6 years of dealing with it, like I'm kind of like when I do go through those waves, I know how what it is, how to deal with it. When I was 16, it was just more like, what is this? Like, what do I do? So
yeah,
now it's kind of like it's a bit weird. I take a bit more of like a mature approach to it, really, where if I do get waves of it or I am feeling down or something, I just fully immerse myself in it. Like there are times where I'm very like, right, no matter what I do, I can't overcome this. So I'm just gonna fully immerse myself in this feeling, let myself feel awful about it, and then for like an hour, and then try and like pull myself back out of it. Um, it's good. I've been keeping myself busy. I think especially when I January time was when things got really bad for me again. I was like, right, okay, well, realistically, what am I going to do about this? And I'm quite like practical. I like to put things in place
yeah,
because I know it will keep me. So I was working probably 60, 70 hours a week, exercising for probably about 8 hours a week. And then already I was like, right, okay. So like when it comes to like sleep, I was like, I was so tired throughout the day because I've been working, training so much. I'd easily fall asleep. Or I was trying to get myself into better shape, so my nutrition was okay. And then already you're looking at it and you're like, wow, well, like as much as you can feel bad, like there's so much stuff that I'm doing that it's gonna like warrant, um, like sleep, eating right. So I can still feel bad, but if I'm, doing the essentials of eating right and make falling asleep, getting sleep, then it's not all so bad.
yeah. So you kind of had to take action before pity parties
Yeah, yeah.
kind of see it, and that's something what I have to deal with. And we've had the odd little messages and stuff like that where I had a message the other day when I said about when it comes down to mental health, when it comes down to mental health, I can't speak for all of it, but let's talk about depression. I'm high functioning depressive myself. I hate that term, but there we go. So it's kind of a badge now. And so I have to take steps when I feel myself going down. Sometimes, yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have a day of just sitting in my pants watching Netflix and just lovely thought for everyone there, isn't it? Yeah, and just bum around. And but then I have to really be careful and make sure that that day one of bumming around doesn't turn into day two, day three. And I've started calling that what we call the pity party, where
Yeah.
you have to make that step and go, actually, life is a little bit crap at the moment, but
Mm.
to get out of it, I have to do something to help myself. Like it sounds like with you with the did you say exercise?
Yeah, so I think when I do get into these like bad ways, um, what I try and do is the way that I kind of immerse myself in it, but also like fully soak the feelings in and then fully get myself out of it. So I put my headphones on and I'll go out for a walk. So
Yeah,
whether that be when I'm back home, I walk my dog, or it was mainly last year to be fair, where like in a recent case where it got really bad. So I was in Nottingham last year at university, and I remember like it would be like 8, 9 p.m. and I'd be like, right, well, I'm just feeling awful. And I couldn't sit in my room. I'd just be like too agitated. So I thought, right, okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go for a walk. And then I think my housemates obviously could tell that something was up. I'd go out for a walk and like play music that kind of like helped me in a way. I remember I'd be out for about an hour and a half, sometimes maybe more, sometimes maybe less. And in that time I just let myself fully immerse in the feelings. I didn't want to hide away from them. I thought, right, for me, the best thing to do is be like a sponge, like
oh, okay.
go into a pool of water, like soak it all up, soak those feelings in, and then after that, like when I start walking back, like just drain it out, like it'll just start to fade out because I feel like I haven't hid away from it. I've gone into it, I've immersed myself in it. Now I've pulled myself out of it.
That's good. I'm just while I'm listening to you, I'm thinking back to like literally hundreds of conversations,
Mm,
and actually most people, including myself, is I think we kind of force our we force ourselves to do something before those feelings all kick in.
mm,
I think you're one of the first ones, whereas actually where you'll kind of embrace it because you know it's coming.
yeah,
And that's interesting, but this goes back to what this goes back to our message, which I feel like I'm just constantly on repeat of just is there's nothing. it doesn't matter how you deal with your mental health as long as you deal with it.
Yeah,
So with me, if I had just going by what you say, if I was if I was you, I'd be fighting to keep those feelings away.
yeah, I know.
But
I
you've
think
done it the other way, and I find that's interesting. I generally think you're the first person who said that. And yeah,
there
again,
is.
if it works for you, mate, excuse me, it's not wrong.
Yeah, it's one of those weird ones where like now, like when I am in good places, like I will reflect on it and I look back and I think like sometimes it's bad as it sounds, like sometimes I feel more comfortable, more at peace when I'm depressed. Like I feel like
Say that again. Sorry, I misheard it.
I said sometimes like as bad as it sounds, sometimes I feel more comfortable when I am depressed. Like I feel like I'm more like myself.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. I remember I was like, I think I heard it in one of the songs that I was listening to, and it was like, I do feel more comfortable when I am depressed. Like, it feels more normal to me, and it's there. Like, I don't really know what it would be like if I was fully happy in a way, if you know what I mean.
No, I do. I've never heard anyone say that before. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, I do. Do you think it's when you're in society, and I get this a lot. So, for example, if I'm doing talks for like Man Up or whatever else, they drain a lot. I enjoy them, but they
Mm.
drain the life out of me. I'm like, right, okay, this is Dan Man Up.
Mm.
Put like this mask on, do it, and then I'm completely and utterly bloody bollocks afterwards. Is that kind of like you with society then?
Yeah, I think, like, you know, I'm quite outgoing. Like, my friends will be like, "Oh yeah," Aaron, like he's very like outgoing and all that. But truth be told, like when I am by myself, like it's my favorite time. I like being an introvert. It's like when when I have these when I have these chances where I'm very like I'm feeling a bit low, or if I am with people and I'm feeling a bit low, the first thing I'll do is remove myself from the situation. I'm like, right, because at that point, like, people gonna know what's up, that something's going on. And they're like, it's not work, whatever I'm feeling, I can't be in this situation. I don't want people knowing that I'm well, in a bad way. So I just pull myself out of the situation, and then I just like fully immerse myself in just being alone, the feelings that I'm feeling, and just like soak it all in.
Okay. So man, I'm kind of wondering after listening to that because I've said it many times on Man Up is I like to I've got the world's most annoying chest infection and whatever else. I've literally been dying for like 2 weeks. When you get the lung infection, but it's gone, but you still got that
Still
little
got the
annoying
after
cough. So I
effects of it, yeah,
apologise. And but like I'm wondering whether I do that because I go wild camping
yeah. Mm,
quite a lot. I like to just go on my own, no mobile phone signal in a tent on the edge of mountains in sometimes -12 and all sort. And I absolutely love it. And
yeah,
some people think, oh, it's me being broke. It's not me being broke. It's because I need to get away from people. And all I can describe is I like to go there. It's like picking myself up, give my head a good wobble, and all like the small problems just fall out and fall away.
yeah,
And then I come back completely recharged. Go right. I need to do this. I need to do that, and the noisy crap has just been left on the mountain.
yeah,
Is that kind of
yeah. I think for me, it's like there's so much like stuff going on in my life, like in anyone's life, really. Like, I'm 22, so it's like there's so much stuff on your phone, messaging people, being at uni. I've got uni friends, I've got home friends. There's like social media, posting stuff and all that. And even when I was younger, when I first was dealing with it, I was there like I was thinking about scenarios that I probably shouldn't be thinking about, and so I was there like, do you know what? Like realistically, I want to shut all this noise out because that's what all of it is really. It's just noise.
no? I'll go with you.
So I used to just put my headphones in and just walk, just simply just. I wouldn't even go on my phone. Anytime I turn my phone on, if I was to change a song, I just walk along, listen to the lyrics. Sometimes I'd like properly analyze the lyrics. Sometimes I just walk and not even know what song's going on. I just like let my mind go wherever it wanted to go. Um, let my mind go wherever it goes. Just like let myself fully feel the feelings that I was feeling because I felt like there's no hiding away from it. And I thought rather than hiding away from it and not like embracing it, I thought I'd do the opposite. Like no, let's just isolate myself, because a lot of the things is like obviously like feeling alone. So what I made sure I was doing, I was walking on quiet roads. So I was technically alone. I was walking by myself, sometimes like 1, 2 a.m. just around the street, like around near my house. And obviously at 1, 2 a.m. there's nothing on the roads.
Yeah.
It was kind of like I was feeling like what I was kind of doing what I was feeling by being alone because I'd go on these walks, I wouldn't see anyone or see any cars. I'd be like, right, okay, so now that I've like immersed myself into how I'm feeling, it's a bit more real to me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's amazing, mate. It's totally different to what most people say. And yeah, like
Mm.
he's saying, it's if it works for you, mate, it's not wrong.
Mhm.
No, so how do you? I don't want to say snap yourself out of it, but maybe that's all I can say. How do you go, right? Okay, that's enough now. I'm kicking back in.
Yeah, do you know what?
I
It's a
didn't mean
question.
that rude, by I didn't mean that rude, by the
No,
way.
yeah, no, no.
Yeah,
I don't actually really know, to be fair. Like, because usually when I go into these waves, like, I couldn't tell you like where I walked or what what happened because I just kind of like, or technically in a way, like I zone out really. So when I am walking back, like coming near home, or even if I'm not walking, I'm just like, I think I'm just there like, right, okay, that's that. And then at that point, sometimes if I am on a walk, it's like 2 a.m. It's like the second you get into bed, you're just gonna fall asleep. Or I'll be like, if I'm just lying in bed, I'll be like, right, okay, and I'll go downstairs. So there's like a person there, and I'm like, right, okay, now I've got to like put an act on, and then I just slowly like snap out of it like that. So there's nothing actually like set in place that I know that pulls me out of it. I think I just kind of just go back to like technically in a way like normal life, and then something
yeah,
like instantly changes my focus.
yeah. It's amazing, man. It's kind of, it's, in a weird way, it's kind of refreshing to hear it because
Mm,
I think I'm a bit of a recluse.
mm,
Sometimes I definitely enjoy my own company. They say even when I do stuff like I do generally struggle around people.
mm.
People think I'm not really confident. I guess I am confident, but I'm very good at putting a front on
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So I think it's in a weird way. It's quite nice to hear what you're saying, actually, mate. So I appreciate that.
Okay.
Well, I'm not the only one. No. So just before we draw to a close, there's that little cue. But just before we draw to a close, so if someone's watching this and they might be struggling with whatever, what would you say what would you say for them to do? You don't need to be a mental health guru. None of us are.
Yeah, no, don't hide away from it. I think, I remember when I was younger, speaking to therapists, they were like, "Oh, we'll do these things in place for you to not go into those ways." And maybe it works for me and not for other people, but the way that I really dealt with it and all kind of grown from it really is I'm like, no, I'm feeling this way. I'm not going to hide away from it. I'm going to let myself feel the way that I'm feeling. Um, Maybe sometimes try and enhance that. I'm there like let myself be depressed, let myself feel awful about myself for an hour, really soak the feelings up. Like, why is it that this is happening to me? Um, and then just kind of like move on from it. Really, like whether that be going to bed, going back into a public scenario, and then like really just try and immerse myself. Don't hide away from anything. Don't don't shut yourself out. Take the time by yourself. 'Cause that's where you're going to learn as a person. I generally feel like the person I am today because when I was younger, I just decided to just cut people off and then just be by myself. I learned a lot about who
I've
I
been there.
am.
I've been there many
Yeah,
times. Yeah.
yeah. Like I've learned a lot about myself when I was at my lowest. Like I feel like that's the most growth I've ever made from even to when I was back in January when I was in a really bad way and I felt like life was kind of pretty much everything was against me. I was
Yeah.
like, right, okay, well, I was here 5 years ago. I'm back in. I'm back to square one. What can I do? So I was like, right, okay, I'm gonna fully immerse myself in the feelings, whether that be crying, um, like crying, being heartbroken, being just like no will to live. Like, I just felt like, right, okay, well, let yourself feel these feelings. Like, you can't hide away from it because it's just always gonna keep coming back and biting you on the bum. I just let myself feel like that, and then from then I was like, okay, what can I do now to make myself feel better? So it's always like, in a way, it's like kick yourself down, like get yourself to your lowest point, So then you can really understand like who you are as a person, and then what can you do to build your blocks back up.
That's a good reply, mate.
Yeah,
That's a brilliant reply, and this is exactly why I don't like we don't script or anything like that
yeah.
with the videos, and we like to let the guests lead it better, lead it the best we can, man. So no, I massively appreciate that. And the
Mm,
one thing I'm glad we fought through the technical issues just before as well, because
yeah.
you know, man, there might be one person watching this when they upload it, what will be like, I haven't tried that.
Mm.
And I do think, and maybe we're part of the problem as well. It's just maybe we need to stop saying avoid that, not avoid those feelings. Do you get what I mean? But do what you can to not get those feelings.
Yeah, like it's the same. It's okay not to be okay. Um, I I generally fully agree with that. Like
I do.
sometimes, like yeah, like let yourself be like that. Like
Yep.
there's no shame in it. The amount of times last year when I was in Nottingham, and it got too much for me, I'd be like, right, okay, I'm not okay. I'm not feeling good. I tell my mates from home, I'm in a bad way. I'm gonna come home. So I'd come
Yeah.
back from Nottingham, go back to where I'm from in Watford, and I'd just be there like let myself feel like that. Like there's no point trying to put on a brave act and being like put on a fake face, fake smile, and be like, yeah, I'm good. How's everything? I was like, no, like realistically, I'm not okay. I need help. So what would I do? I'm like, right, I'm gonna do something that's gonna try and make myself feel better. So I'd take myself back home. I'd let myself feel awful about myself, fully immerse myself in those feelings. Why is it I'm feeling this? Like intensify those feelings, but I'm also like I kind of in a way drain myself out and then go back to being my normal self. It's like I feel like, as I said, the best way you can kind of like grow and not beat it because I'm still here struggling from it, but like overcome the waves of depression is don't hide away from it. Don't hide away from it. Don't let yourself try and like fight against something that you can't win a battle against. Just like let it happen, and then grow from it. Because it sounds weird, but like even now, like I feel like my struggles back then is like it's kind of like beautiful in a way. Like it's
Yeah.
really kind of held me accountable for who I am. What can I do? How can I grow from it? And what can I do in the future to overcome it? So like even now, when I do go through those waves, I say like it's beautiful in a way because I say like I'm I can kind of see my growth from when I was 16. When I was 16, I was like going out for about 3 hours on a walk, like thinking about killing myself, trying to do that, but generally trying to kill myself, self harm and all that. And now when I am in these waves, I'm there like, yeah, not in a good way, might cry, have an hour feeling bad about myself, and then I'm putting myself back and I'm there like, no, like, look how far you've come, like
Yeah.
yeah, you're still going to feel bad. Like life's not going to be perfect. There's always going to be things that are going to kick you back down to the ground. But it's how you overcome from it. And I look at it, and I think I've talked a lot about growth. It's like how far I've come in these last 5 years from how I'm able to deal with it. Like it's still the waves of depression are still as bad as what they were when I was 16. But as I like, I can see it now when I am at rock bottom at 22 from when I was rock bottom at 16. I was there like, there's so many more things that I'm able to do to pull myself back out of it and also be a bit more, have it with a bit more like pride in a way.
Yeah. Because I do agree. I do. I think I agree with you. And I think I know what you're saying, unless I got it wrong. Like with me, and I've said it before, is I do think once you can get to learn to live with mental health rather than suffering from it,
Mhm.
I think once you start learning those skills, you know what I mean? But once we start learning how to deal with it, I really don't think it's very, very rare that you hear anybody go back to the original, the first dot baddest place.
Yeah,
We might slip up every now and again, but we never go back all the way. We think we do. But if you actually write it down or look back at it, am I making sense?
yeah, no, no, 100%. Yeah,
And that, so and I think you're a prime candidate. I don't know what's saying on that one either, but it's just, I think you've pretty much hit the nail on that, mate.
yeah,
So
yeah.
let me hit the stop recording because you're another one of those where we can start keep going and going and going and going, and then it's like shit, it's 5 o'clock. So